Welcome back to the Isabelle Wellman podcast, friends, the place where high achieving folks learn how to integrate their own version of body, mind, and soul alignment to live an enthusiastic life. Today, we have a special guest. Her name is Tara Soukup, 28, almost 29, is an athlete transplant from Pittsburgh who is now spending her time trekking around Summit County, Colorado. Avid skier, biker, foodie, and general outdoor lover, she's here to share her experience of becoming, and more importantly, staying driven when it comes to doing the damn thing. So we're going to be talking about discipline and honestly just staying motivated, staying chipper about moving the body, the mind, getting ourselves up and out of the home, even on the days we really don't feel like it. So without further ado, Tara, how are you doing?
Hey, I am great. I am excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me on. Definitely never been on a podcast before, so this is my first time chatting on one of these, so I'm excited.
Hey, that's what we like. I can take your podcast V card
Oh yeah.
just in time for Valentine's Day.
You got it.
So a big reason I invited you on the podcast is because you're always getting outside. And I have a big focus for this era of the podcast to basically interview people I admire who are constantly putting themselves outside, whether that's going on a walk outside their front door because that's what they can manage that day, or they go on some big adventure. And so I would love to learn more about your story, what led you from Pittsburgh to Colorado to begin with, and then how you are where you are now.
Yeah, so it kind of started when I was in like high school. My cousin lived in Vail and he was kind of ski bumming it up. And I started coming out to visit him to go skiing and then come out in the summertime to go mountain biking. And then when I went to college at Penn State, I was part of the adventure program doing adventure guiding. And then I became the trips and logistics manager. And I would just kind of like really involved myself in the outdoors pretty quickly. And I fell in love with the mountains in general. I love the mountains in the central Pennsylvania area, and I obviously love the Rockies. And pretty much as soon as I graduated, I worked a little bit as a server and moved out here with a little trailer full of stuff. I lived in Fort Collins for a little while and kind of bopped around there just because that was where I could afford to go. One of my friends like moved out with me and we got this like place for 400 bucks a month each, which was like unheard of. And we were able to like, make it happen. And then I met my boyfriend, a little Tinder action. But we moved in together, and then shortly after we were like, you know what, like it's time for us to just like move up to the mountains and be where we actually really want to be. And it's just so much easier to do what we like to do by being, not an hour or 2 hours away. And then, I came up here and I've done a lot of different weird jobs. It's if you live in the mountains, you kind of live and work a lot, doing pretty much whatever. But I've been mountain bike instructing this past summer and working for a couple of different ski companies. And yeah, I just like love skiing and biking, and I've fallen in love with the mountains, and it's just the best place to be up here now for me. And we've been trying to like figure out like, where are we gonna move? Where are we gonna like live and like buy a house and like do the whole, family thing. Because it's so expensive here and it's tough because we have it all. And we're like, maybe we'll just continue doing this forever. It's fine. It's fine.
Honestly, Summit County is a hard place to beat.
Yeah.
I've having moved around myself and having 5 years of Summit County in my blood,
Yeah.
that is the one place I yearn to go back to.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's crazy. Like being only an hour from Denver and the airport is like super convenient. You can go down to the Front Range and bike pretty much whenever. And then, if you live up here, you've got how many ski resorts in your backyard? It's kind of obnoxious.
Exactly.
So, I've definitely I wouldn't say lucky or anything. I work really hard to do and live here, but I love it. It's awesome. And my parents are always like, "When are you gonna move home?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know if I can live in Pittsburgh."
Sorry, mom and dad. I love you,
Sorry.
but
You
it's
guys
not
come
gonna.
out here. Like,
Exactly. You will
right?
probably be way happier out here.
Exactly. It's sunny like most of the time.
Yes. Just a couple 12 inches to 6 feet snow, storms
Yeah.
in a
If
while.
you live down in Denver, like it's fine. And like they could totally live in the Front Range and I could come pop down there and visit them. And it would
Yeah,
not be the trek home of a 4-hour flight or so.
literally. And I mean, I think a golden place is gold in Colorado.
Yeah.
Parents, like that's such a great happy medium.
Yeah, Golden and like Evergreen area is like that's all like doable. Like you still get some winter and all of that, but it's not as bad as up here. I mean, here it's a little rough in the winter time and you got to be like we're going to go get the snow out and clean the car off because you definitely don't have a garage.
You definitely don't have a garage. If you have a garage, you are living
You
life.
are like
Bitch.
you've got it all.
You made it. You have a place to wax your skis and store your gear, unlike most people who have it hanging on the wall next to their bed,
Yeah,
which is
my bikes
fine.
are like just in my living room on display, like at all times. Yeah.
It's just my artwork. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very expensive artwork, so I might as well put it up on the wall.
Literally, I mean, it's a great way to take up space too.
Yeah.
I love talking about this. And as we go down this route, what how do you stay in alignment with, I like to call them like your non-negotiable values? And it sounds like from just the little bit we've been saying that you found some of your values. And I like to say that we got five main ones, but
Mhm.
like you have found yourself in this place that you love so much. You work really hard to do what you love to do every day. And I'd love to hear if you have a top five.
So I guess so, yes. Kind of had to like think about that a little bit.
Mm.
Um, I would say biggest thing is like prioritizing. Wow, I can't say prioritizing myself. To just really, try to show up better in general for what I need to do. Um, and with that, I kind of think it's like, listening to audiobooks and motivational things that like can help me to like listen to other people that are trying to do things and trying to change or be better for whatever reason. You don't have to have a problem or anything. It's just to, you know, self advance. And just like listening to those kind of things on a daily basis is huge for me.
Mhm.
Um, and then like another thing would be like just honesty and trust in like my relationships. I have a tight circle, I would say. Like I'm friends with like a lot of people. But the people that I hang out with most of the time, it's pretty small. Just
Mhm.
because I mean, shoot, if you're like an entrepreneur and you're out here working and stuff, like it's hard. And people like I don't have time to like party every day and go to the bar. So those kind of friends do end up, falling by the wayside. They're
Mhm.
still there. Love you guys, but I gotta do my stuff. And then another one would probably be just like communication and
Mhm.
being able to talk about things like with anyone. I've found communication on like Instagram and TikTok and like just the internet and stuff has been really cool with
Mhm.
like meeting you and meeting a ton of other friends that I have met or have not met in person, which is crazy. And even my boyfriend, like I met him on the internet and then now like he's a great communicator and it's awesome to have that because not everybody is as good at communicating as they should be or they're wanting to work on it. um
Mhm.
and that's something I work on all the time. I'm not always the best. I can definitely like not be good with it at all, but that's a whole nother thing. And then just another one would probably be just respect. Um, and that's just like respecting others and their time and what they're doing. Like I'm big on like respecting people's time, just because I feel like I don't have a ton of it to get everything done that I want to do all the time. And probably a lot of other people feel that way, where you're just like, I just don't have enough hours in a day to do it all. So if I'm like, hey, let's go and do this, like let's do it at that time, and maybe I'm a stickler for that, but like, and I can be, you can be a few minutes late. I'm not going to be mad for that. I get it. My car is like sometimes just not going to start. So we have to like hold on. But at the same time, it's like, let's do it and let's get it done. And then like, let me go to work because I'm probably going to be working later. And my last one would be like the ability to just embrace change, because I've had to embrace a lot of that at all times up here with just changing jobs all the times with seasonal things, and
Mm-hmm.
you never know what's going to happen. And just being able to be like, I'm going to roll with the punches and it's okay. And like, it's okay to like freak out for a minute and then gather myself and come out like charging and ready to go. Because we can all have a moment of like, what is going on?
Oh my gosh. Your energy thrills me. And of course, being my astrology obsessed self, I have your chart pulled up and you're a Leo moon. And so
Yeah.
it's like, I understand you. My Leo moon sees your Leo moon, and I feel you very deeply. And I also want to like reiterate to you how much Pisces energy you have in your chart. I don't know if you know this or not, but you have 5 planets, 4 planets in this sign. And so it's like, that's like your main juju. And
Mm-hmm.
listening to you describe like self-care, honesty, trust, that communication piece, respect, embracing change, like so adaptable, very like amoeba, like I can go with the flow. It's all right. I'm not gonna be super mad at you if you're a little late, but it's my time. And you have this planet of responsibility, Saturn. Why I said Saturn return earlier in the pod, right next to your sun's like personality, responsibility. I am you, you are me. And it's like you are that to a T. Do you feel that in your life that
Oh
you are
my God,
this
yeah.
structured being?
So like I am structured sometimes like with certain things, and then there's like, things that my ADHD and flowiness and probably like living in a fantasy land sometimes brain gets me off track.
Mhm.
So, I'm one of those people that has like 17 notebooks, and like I have a Google Calendar too, and like I have a calendar on my wall that I'm writing onto. Like I have it in 17 places just so I can like make sure I'm being on track, because I don't know, I feel like I've always done a lot. My parents were always pushing me, to like, I was an athlete, so I was always in all the things. I was working, I was in all of the different clubs. So like having a ton of things to do is like the only way that I can do things, because as soon as I stop, like I'm just like, like what do I am a blob now. Like I don't know. I don't have a purpose. And like even today I just called up a girl that I met through a friend mountain biking, and was like, hey, like maybe I'm gonna sign up for a mountain bike race. Like why? I don't know. Like I'm just like, I have to have something to look forward to and drive for,
Mhm.
um it's huge. I have like this like fire or something, and like I don't, not everybody has it. And it's maybe annoying probably to other people and to myself sometimes, because I'm like, can you calm down? Like you don't have to do everything today. Like it's fine to just like chill and relax, like the I'm not like the meditative person as much as I'd like to be. Like
Mhm.
we try to Wim Hof breathe and things, but I am not good at like sitting still. I am vibrating quickly.
Hell to the yeah, always vibrating. And you know what? You have your moon is in Leo, you got your career path in Aries. So you're like this go-getter, gotta get done. I know that energy very well. It's like if you stop the momentum, if you put water on the fire, how are you gonna light the spark again? And I'd
Yeah.
love to have your opinion on when you do have that cease of momentum and you just kind of the water goes on the fire and you're like, oh, how do you get out of that?
So, I mean, I feel like I do that every time I have like a change where I go on a vacation, just like last week.
Yeah.
I was really good for like the whole month of January. I was like on point with my into everything. I was so good. I was feeling really awesome. And then February started and I was like, I'm a little tired. And then I, was getting ready for a trip and
Mhm.
I was working a lot. So it was just like work straight up to the trip. And then I went on this trip and it was just, like no work at all. And it was awesome. I was loving everything, every minute of just like not having to answer to anyone or anything. But then when I came back, you have that like post trip depression, and then you're like, how do I get back into my groove? And I am into the groove because I'm thrown right back into work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I was like kind of tired mentally and not just like physically or anything. So I wasn't going for like 2 days. It didn't work out. It didn't go anywhere because I was just like, I'm gonna sleep. And I think I probably needed that. Honestly. But then it makes me feel like, okay, I'm not on track. Like I ate a bunch of weird things on vacation. Like I wasn't, doing what I normally do and staying on my routine. And for me, it's really just like being like, okay, Tara, stop making excuses and being like, okay, your alarm went off at 5 and you're gonna hit that snooze again. You really gonna do that?
Mhm.
You really gonna do that? And like sometimes I have to be a little hard on myself and it
Mhm.
sucks, especially when it's really cold out and you have to go start your car and you're like, I want to go to the gym right now, or I want to go skin up a mountain. Sometimes that's not always like, my first thing. I'm like, I do want to go skin up the mountain, but like it's really cold. Like it's -15 right now. Do I want to? But my friend's like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, okay, like let's do it. And I think it's really just a matter of me, like listening to my audiobook of something and saying, okay, I'm gonna get up and I'm not going to
Mhm.
negotiate this with myself. I am going like it's kind of that thing of thinking almost I've started thinking of showing up for myself like I'm showing up for other people.
Mhm.
Because if you are late for somebody else or you mess up something for somebody else or you don't, show up to the meeting, they're like, what the hell? And I feel really intensely about that. I don't want to have, I guess, my image of people being like, oh, she's not going to show up, she's not going to do the thing or whatever. So it's like, why can't I do that for me
Yeah.
at the end of the day? Why am I making an excuse at the end of the day and saying, "Oh, I don't have to show up to the meeting for me." I do. That's embarrassing to myself.
Mhm.
And I have to like get over that sometimes and sometimes I don't. I'm not perfect. Sometimes the other day I slept in and I was like, we should go to the gym and then I laid back down. And
Mhm.
I wasn't mad at myself though. I'd be mad at myself if I did that every single day, but having a little grace is good. Just because I, was an athlete and I know what it's like to be pushed further than I need to be sometimes. And if your body's telling you like you're tired, you're probably tired. And I usually wake up feeling pretty good. Like if I'm feeling this way, I should probably rest. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of these like books and stuff that I've been listening to, they have really helped me to kind of look at it as showing up for myself like I'm trying to show up for everybody else. Cause I'll run around and I'm a yes girl. I'm definitely a yes girl. I got a little FOMO and I want to do things for people and I want to help and I want to be the person that shows them something cool. And uh why don't I do that for me? Like I just have to kind of reiterate that I think a lot.
Absolutely. Do you feel like living in such a place like Summit County that has seasonal jobs everywhere? If you're someone who is, getting on the scene, you don't have $1 million to your name. You're living life paycheck by paycheck, or maybe you got a little cushion. How do you or my question is, excuse me, do you think living in this kind of style helps your brain rewire itself to show up for you more because your time is so valuable and you do have to put in, like those working hours, but then you're like, all right, this is me time. What am I going to do? Do you feel like that helps you at all?
So I think it helps me with just like my schedule. Like I've chosen a lot of jobs where I am working weekends or working evenings so that I do have the daytime to go and do the outdoor things that I like to do. And not everybody has that opportunity, and I sometimes still have to work during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And work the 9 to 5 hours or whatever. But I think that I have purposely sought out jobs that have worked for what I want to do. Like I have made it a priority for myself not to have a job that I'm working around
Mm-hmm.
like my life around, but my job is more like, okay, it's in the afternoon and I can do all my good stuff and I have my motivation in the morning, because I don't have the motivation in the afternoon. Like, yeah, it gets dark and stuff in the winter, obviously that's rough, but even in the summertime, if I get off in the afternoon at 5, like I am way less motivated to go biking from
Mm-hmm.
5 to 8, just because it's the afternoon and I've worked all day, versus if I work, at 12, I
Mm-hmm.
can get up at 9 even and do 2 hours of riding, and it's in the morning, and it's like it just sets my whole day, whether it's biking or gym or whatever I'm doing, like I think that that has been a priority for me, and
Yeah.
maybe someday the world will be better for people so they can have a better work-life balance like that.
Mm-hmm.
um because I don't think it's possible for everybody's job, or what they do, but if you want this, then you can, I guess, do that.
You can have it. You can
You
have
can
it
have
all,
it,
baby.
but you might have to like work random seasonal jobs sometimes, and then like have gaps where you have to save up money, and then you're like working gigs, and like, but the thing is, at the end of the day, I have so much fun doing all of these weird things, and I like the change,
Yeah.
like some people are like, well, why don't you get a job that's full year long? And I'm like, well, I'm looking for one. But at the same time, the opportunities that have been handed to me
Mm-hmm.
have been these seasonal opportunities, and they've been awesome. I've met some great people. I've got to learn really cool things and change up my whole entire job and life every season. Like, that's like being in school again, like you go to school all year long and then you have summer off. It's like the same thing for me, but I have winter is my whatever I do, and then summer is usually biking. And like, I don't know. I think it definitely helps being up here, and the people around, there's, I think, more people that are trying
Mm-hmm.
maybe to go, there's a lot of people who have moved here to also be outside.
Yeah.
There's some people that haven't. There definitely isn't. But then on the other side, there's a lot of people that are motivated to be like, I'm gonna go skiing today. And maybe they work in the service industry and they also work at night or something like that, and I can hang out with you. But um I think having that helps, because back in Pennsylvania, people did sports, but it wasn't as daily, it wasn't as passionate, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's
No,
a
I
different.
get that. I get you because it's like a school thing and a coach thing. And there's like this weird aura, if that's even the right word, to like that's around it. It's like a certain understanding. But if you're like really wanting to get it, it has to be this inner recognizing of like, oh wow, I'm actually good at this. Like, oh, I do want to do this later in my life, or I want to become this thing. Versus like
Yeah.
recreational activity. I didn't do as much of that growing up, but I wish I would have, because the few times I did, I was like, whoa, this is setting my soul on fire. And it was because there wasn't any fucking regulation on what needed to happen. It was like, you're just here to have fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like there was like sports. I was always in sports growing up, and they like are different when it's not like an outdoor sport. I don't know. Like there's something different about mountain biking than playing volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like not just the team side of things. Like you can play team, sports in outdoor sports and things like that, but it's just a different feel, like especially when it's not on a track. And like I don't know, like something about when I climb up a mountain and I get to the top of it, like I am scared every single time. Like no matter what. Like it's not like I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm going to freak out scared," but like I get a healthy bit of fear every time I'm up there, because I know that, like the snow isn't safe necessarily. Like, like, and could be in danger. I could be in serious danger. And
Mm-hmm.
even just if I slipped up here, not even skiing, or causing an avalanche, I could just fall. you
Yeah.
know like I don't have to fall very hard either. Like I could be literally nothing and my knee is done or something.
Mm-hmm.
um and I just don't feel that way as much when, like, I was playing volleyball and stuff, like maybe a little bit more with hockey, just because it was like a little more intense. But even so, like, no, I wasn't afraid in hockey. Like I never felt that way, but I feel another type of adrenaline and weird, like, connection to mother nature or something. I don't know, with like the outdoor sports. It's just so intense. Like, and I went paragliding for the first time, and like as soon as we flew off the mountain, we almost we did hit a bush. We like were going down. My boyfriend was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna die." But we came back up, and I was immediately like, "This is the best thing I've ever done in my life. I need to do this." So that's my like next sport that I'm gonna try to learn.
I'm so jazzed you just brought that up. My partner is like, we need to learn how to paraglide. And so we're
Yeah,
literally looking at classes for the summer. I was like, that would be a dope thing to get into, even if I would shit my pants every time. That would be
it's
sick.
it is scary, but it's really fun. And like I liked it more than skydiving. I went skydiving for a friend's 30th birthday, and maybe I just did it too late. I was over 25 and now I have like a weird amount of fear or something. I don't know what's going on, but I was like at the edge of the plane and I was like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I am not okay with this. And then we go out, and I was just like, I can't wait for that parachute to come out, please. And then when it came out, I was just like, thank God, thank God. Oh my, like, get me down. And everybody else was like, didn't you love the free fall, Terry? You love adrenaline. And I was like, no.
I hated it
I
actually.
hated it. It was terrible.
It was too much, too much adrenaline.
But then, like, running myself off of the mountain with
Yeah.
somebody strapped to my back was way more fun. I don't know why. I like it, but we almost like hurt ourselves. And I still had a better time. I don't
That's amazing. I feel like
yeah.
that has a lot to say about, maybe it's the control factor, like free falling in the air versus having the opportunity to run yourself off the mountain. It's like, I chose this with
Yeah.
my
Well,
legs.
and the parachute's already out. Like your wing is already out. So like you can feel it
Yeah.
pulling up on you when you're running forward. So like you can already have that like feeling of being in a harness,
Mhm.
So it like feels like you have something there. Maybe it's like a confidence that I should not feed into. But like I did, the free fall was just like I just whew, I couldn't even. Everybody's like, "Did you look around?" I was like, "No, I didn't feel like I blacked out. I was so afraid." It was something.
Holy smokes. I love this. Um, when it comes to, oh gosh, like getting over the fear. So I love how you're saying you have this healthy amount of fear. Like, when you go out on a trek, mountain biking, skiing, something could go very wrong because of your understanding, your learning. You have found a place in yourself where you feel that confidence and like self-love, basically, like, oh yeah, I trust myself. I feel safe. And that with Mother Nature, I would love for you to explain, like, how did you grow that? Like, where did it start? Because maybe I know you said that back in Vail with your cousin, starting to ski and mountain bike, but how did you really make that jump to make it a part of your life? For anyone who might be out there and is like, I'm touching my toe over the edge, but I don't know if I can do it.
Well, I think like it kind of started when I was looking at working for Adventure Rec at Penn State.
Mhm.
So my mom was like, "You are eligible for work study. You should look for a work study job." And I was like at one of those plasma places, like selling my plasma so I could like have beer money, in college. So I was like, okay, that sounds cool. Like, sure. And I was looking online at the work study jobs, and it was Penn State Adventure Recreation. You can do this work study and work at the counter and then like learn how to be a guide. And I was like, that sounds like kind of cool. Like, I don't really have much experience, honestly, like besides being an athlete. Like, I wasn't an outdoor athlete yet, besides skiing, and like I biked outside, but I wasn't a mountain biker yet or anything.
Mhm.
And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna try out for this job and an interview. I got the job, and then I was just like working literally at a desk and like signing up for people up for trips and stuff.
Mhm.
And then you could sign up to be like in the
Mm.
training for the adventure guide class. So I signed up and was like, this is super rad. I love working outside and getting to do really cool things. And this is way more different than anything else on campus.
Mhm.
Um, but I had no idea, anything. Like, and I just had to go into it. I got some training for backpacking and climbing. So I learned how to top rope. I learned how to raft. I learned how to mountain bike, like all through that.
Mhm.
But like, it was really on my own accord. And then I stopped mountain biking for a little while. Wasn't very serious about it even when I was guiding. And then during COVID, I I got a bike somehow, some way. I'm not sure. The bike shortage had already begun,
Yeah.
and I snagged myself a big squish bike and started just like going.
Mhm.
And I was definitely like really not great at the time. Like I could bike, but I was way out of shape and I could not do what everybody was doing here with the elevation gain and everything.
Mhm.
And I remember like the first day I did like 12 miles and I came back and I like laid on my floor and I was like, like someone kill me right now, my legs. I was like, I can't even move. Like, I can't even think. Like, I don't know. I burned all of the calories in my body. Like, it was one of those kind of feelings. And so, I just kind of went after it. And then I don't know. I feel like I got like weirdly put into a lot of jobs and things. Like I worked at a robotics company called Rome Robotics that makes robotic exoskeletons for skiers. It's basically like a knee brace with a pneumatic backpack
Wow.
that basically helps your legs to not have as much fatigue or pain whenever you're skiing. So if you have like any type of, arthritis or various types of issues with your muscles or legs, it
Yeah.
can help you stay out on the slope. So I was doing that, and then I think I was able to just ski every day.
Yeah.
And then I started working at RMU and was skiing a lot with them, doing skios, doing like a weekly skin up the mountain.
Yeah.
And I was also doing ridos, which I was kind of not kind of. I was 100% intimidated by, because they were like, "Yeah, Terry, like you're gonna lead these ridos," and I was like, "Okay." And everybody was like, "The ridos are really intense. They're like really intense. Like everybody's a try hard, and like people are like really good bikers." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, and I'm leading it, like. maybe I shouldn't be leading it. And then I started leading it, and like, yeah, I wasn't always the first person up because I mean, there's some people that are just crazy climbers.
Mhm.
But I was holding my own out there, great, just dandy.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody, like a lot of the girls that would come on the ridos, we had a girls rido as well.
Mhm.
They were kind of intimidated as well with going on the guys or the unisex rido. It was more guys friendly, but they they would be like, like, I don't want to go because they're gonna be like, you're going slow, blah blah blah. And I was like, who cares? Like, we're here to have a good time. This is not a race. Did you sign up for a race today? Because I don't see any race anywhere. Nothing is set up for a race. We are not racing. So, like, let's just go. Who cares if you have to walk your bike? Sometimes I do too.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time I do. Like, shoot, there's some steep stuff out here and there's some scary stuff. And I'm out here like, I want you to have a fun time. And I want to like make memories and laugh and take videos and like
Yeah.
be silly and not not have you like I hate this the whole time and I'm uncomfortable. There's no reason to feel uncomfortable too, because like even the guys, they're not like, oh, you're going so slow. Like none of the guys
Yeah.
would ever say that. Like I had no one say that to me. And maybe they said it behind my back. I don't care. Who cares? All I know is I got up there and I had a rad time biking with like 30 people. And nobody's here to judge you like at all. And I
Yeah.
think it's just getting over that fact of like nobody really is looking at they're more self-conscious about themselves getting up the mountain. That's why they're trying so hard. Like
Yeah.
that's that's why. Like they're trying to do this because they want to look good too. We're all out here trying to look good.
Yes. Yes. We all just want to feel important. And it's like,
Yeah.
yo, the other people, they're so caught up in their own heads, they're not gonna think about you. And
They have no idea.
to think that you are on their minds, how dare you?
How dare you think that they're over here just judging you? Like, it's one thing, yeah. I definitely feel always weird when I'm like in front of somebody and I'm like like
Yeah.
breathing and they're right behind me and I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm sorry, I'm going slow, slow, so slow. And they're like, no, this is a great pace. Thank you for keeping this. And I'm like, okay, like I could just keep this pace then and not feel bad about it. Like,
Yeah.
don't like it's just such a mental thing
Mhm.
of don't get in your head, nobody is actually looking at you. Like it's when you go out in a crowd, do
Yeah.
you are you looking at everybody else really? Like, yeah, you're people watching, but you're not like, what is that person doing? Like, I can't believe they are biking that slow. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime I see someone running, biking, doing anything, I'm like, good job, keep going. Like, I'm not saying, like, in my head, personal experience, it's like, I'm not gonna attack them. I'm gonna congratulate them and like, celebrate them.
yeah, well, and then half the time here too, like you have these like older people show up to these events
Yeah.
and they are blowing us young people out of the water because they just have the stamina of like 1,000 racehorses and they can run up a mountain. Like I saw this, we used to like hike up Ajax and Aspen with my family and we'd like hike up and then you'd have lunch and you'd go down the gondola. Well, there's this guy, he was like bent over, he was just like running up the mountain and like past us like it was nothing. And we were like, oh my god. And like it's like I feel like a lot of young people are so intimidated by other young people. And I'm like, look at that old guy over there. He's gonna crush you.
Yeah.
You have no reason to feel intimidated by, you know, Brad over here who like has his pit vipers on and he's like, yeah, he can go fast up the hill, but like can he go 75 miles like that guy? Like, I don't know.
Yes. And can he even
It's
go
all relative.
downhill?
Yeah, and it's all so relative. Like everybody has a different skill.
Yeah.
So, like you're not everybody's gonna come into any sport and be like, I'm gonna pick this up immediately.
Mhm.
Sometimes you do, sometimes, yeah. But guess what? Most of the time you're gonna have to do a lot of practice. I didn't just become okay at mountain biking overnight. Like I
Mhm.
have biked for like 3 years straight, like every summer, every day, like, and then sometimes bike trips in the winter, like that's,
Yeah.
you have to be doing it and practicing, just like you have to practice anything else, or you have to actually try. You can't just be like, I'm gonna go out there and be good at this.
Literally, and I feel like we skim the surface of how important that gestation period of growth is. Like, hey, you get to be bad at this and literally have no excuse for it. You just started. Why make it harder or more intimidating or feel yucky and crunchy? And I love how you approach sport and getting out there and just doing it and like, oh, I really like this. Cool. That's my motive to keep doing it because I like it, not because I have to be number one or compete or to win or to worry about my image. Like, just have fun. Just enjoy
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, I think a lot of people just focus on, like what they look like with other people. And it really, when it comes down to life, like we're only here for so long. And we spend so much of it working so that we can afford to do the things we want to do. So why not just go and do them?
Yeah.
Like just go and do whatever makes you happy. Like if that is rollerblading and dancing, or if it's climbing mountains or painting, like whatever you want to do. I
Mhm.
feel like you should just, like, even if you suck at painting, like I am not that like a great artist or anything, but man, I love to paint sometimes. And like I've filled walls in my house with my paintings, and like I don't care if somebody comes in and they're like, that's weird. Like,
Is that an eyeball? Is that a
yeah,
is
like at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter. And I've kind of like started to embrace that more with, like I do a lot of costume stuff with like outdoor sports in
yeah.
general. I love wearing costumes and being something else for the day because it's freeing, it's the same thing as, just like letting yourself be like not bothered
Mm.
by other people's thoughts. And people enjoy it when you go out there. I mean, me and my friend, so we started this thing called BombShell Bitties, and we're grannies, and we are these like 70s mogul skiers that go and cause havoc on the mountain, and we dress up in like a wig and like a whole onesie, and we were up in Washington and Canada doing this, and it was the best time because everybody's just like, what's going on? And I'm over here yelling that my depends are leaking and like all kinds of stuff, just because it's like, let's just have fun with it. Like, who cares? We're
I
trying to get a senior discount here.
get a half price lift ticket, baby. Come on. You smacking them with your pole.
Right? I'm just like, give me that.
This is fantastic. That's like a tribute to just have fun in this life. We take it so seriously. It's just like, what's the point if you feel bad? Like, if you're feeling bad, is it going to make you feel any better about what you're doing? So
No.
I love your approach. Like, just go out and do something silly about it.
Yeah, and it's so fun. People enjoy it.
Oh,
Like I think a lot, I know a lot of people that are like, I can't believe that you would like wear a crazy outfit
yeah.
and go and do this and be in character for a whole day. And I'm like, why not? It's so funny. People come up to me because of it. And I'm not afraid to talk to them. And I'm gonna just be really weird. I'm gonna be weird about it. Because why not? It's so funny to just, I don't know, like laugh. I don't know. It's being serious. Like there's times to be serious, of course.
Mhm.
But most of the time, I've realized I was an EMT. I've been in a lot of like, with guiding and stuff. Like I've been in situations where there are serious emergencies and shit hits the fan. And that has made me appreciate, I think, all of the other time a lot more. And yeah, I get frustrated and I get caught up in my own bullshit for sure. But I can sit back and be like, you know what? Like, no one's dying right now. Like, and I feel that at work a lot, with other people who are like, oh gosh, there's a deadline. And you're like,
Chill.
It's literally an email. What are you talking about? Like, not the end of the world, you know. There might be money involved, things like that,
Mhm.
legal things, of course, they could be serious, but at the end of the day, it's mostly like paperwork and just a bunch of stuff that we've made up, really.
It quite literally made up. And it's funny you say that. Something I ask my partner and myself whenever we're freaking out, I'm like, hey, are you hungry? Are you cold?
Problem.
Are you cold or are you dying? Because if you're not any of those three, your life is really good. Like you have a
Yeah,
really good life. Or if you're
yeah,
too hot. But like if you're not firing off your balls or freezing off your balls, you're well fed and you're alive, like you have it nice.
yeah. And I think just like reframing your brain to think that is huge. And a
Mhm.
lot of people, they just get bogged down into, oh, it's so bad, the news, everything is bad, the economy, and just the worst things. And we get bogged down by all of this. And like, shoot, I don't even watch stuff a lot of times because I'm just like, it's gonna just be bad. It's just gonna be bad. And I'm just gonna go out in the woods and it's gonna be great out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I stand there and I do think about that of just like, you know, man, I'm really cold right now, but I have this really nice jacket on. I can put another layer on if I need.
Mhm.
I'm standing here looking at a beautiful view.
Yeah.
I have pepperoni in my pocket. I am stoked. Everything is good. And even if my
Yes.
binding is breaking right now or something, like, it could be worse. Um and just thinking about it like that, especially when you're outdoors and you have to embrace the suck.
Yeah.
Super hard. I mean, shoot, I did a big line with one of my friends for the first time, and we climbed up Buffalo.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's like 3,000 feet of elevation gain in like 2.5 miles.
Mhm.
And that was like the biggest skin I had done yet. And I was like, oh God, we got up to the top, and it was, you'd put your foot up and then you would slide back. And it was so windy, and I was like, this is scary. I don't know if I can make it. Like, I am really struggling now. This is super hard. And he's like, it's gonna mellow out. And I was like, just keep telling me that. Just keep telling me that. It's gonna mellow out. It's gonna be
Yes.
good.
Yes.
And then I got to the top and I was like, this is so worth it. That was so hard though.
The mental resilience and to
Oh
have
my God.
someone help you up and not, oh, that's the big difference. Having people who are like, no, we got this, like a little bit further, 10 more minutes. It's
Yeah.
going to
And
get
like,
more mellow. Those
well,
people.
and he, like, the thing is like it wasn't that much further, but it
Yeah.
was just like at that point it was pretty sucky,
That's
and
intense.
it is intense up there. So you're like, hey, do I even want to go up to the top right now? Like, it seems a little sketchy.
Is this bad right here?
Yeah, like, this doesn't seem safe. And he's like going and he's like, I know you can do it. Like, I know you can do it. Like, and I'm like, I know I can too. It's just that I need to just like not be, I don't know, in my head
Yeah.
and telling myself, Mom, this is too hard. Because it's
Yeah.
really not.
Mhm.
I mean, there's certain, you can push your limits. And I think pushing your limits is huge in general on a daily basis. Whether, like, I said that I think the other day on one of my posts. I was like, it's just pushing yourself every day has made me stronger,
Mhm.
to just be able to deal with things and not be depressed or anxious. And I
Yeah.
still experience all of that a lot. But at the end of the day, it's, you can have that mental resilience, like you were saying. It's huge.
Yeah. I like to tell I teach the U14 racers at like a local hill part-time. I've never raced in my life, by the way, but it's really fun to like mentally stimulate them. I'm like,
Yeah,
hey, get out of your mind and get into your body. You're not going to be thinking about anything when you're flying down that hill on that race day. All I want you to do is like go in your body, feel
yeah,
how you feel. Is it going to make you feel better if you feel worried or anxious? Like I'm not bypassing your emotions, but is it helping? If it's not, like let's just chill a little bit. Let's just bring it down. Let's understand where it's stemming from and have fun because you're not an Olympian yet. And if you want to be great, I'm here for you, of course, but like that's not your time right now. So we
Yeah.
get to just dial it back and just turn up the fun meter.
Yeah, take so much pressure off of it and just go and do it. Go out there. I feel like that was another thing that happened in high school for me. I played lacrosse,
Mhm.
and a lot of the girls that I played with, that was like their first time playing lacrosse or playing on a team sport. And they would always say that they were so nervous
Mhm.
before games. They were like, "Don't you feel like you have to poop or something?" And I'm like, "No, what?" And they're like, "My stomach feels weird," or like, "Don't you feel like, oh my God, people are watching us?" And maybe it was because I had already been playing a team sport since I was a baby, basically. My parents put me on skates and skis when I was 2, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe that kind of took that away from me.
Yeah.
But I still feel it sometimes, but it's not for the other people,
Mhm.
you know? It's more for me. I
Mhm.
get more nervous for me that I'm gonna hurt myself or that I'm gonna like do something dumb. More about hurting myself, I think, at this point in my life.
Yeah.
Um, but I was never worried about like being on show and
Yeah.
like being like the center of attention during a competition.
Mhm.
Um, but like, being on stage was different for me. But being like on a rink, I would forget about everything. And when
Yeah.
I'm skiing, like I don't think about anything else. It's like a zen place.
Yeah. Yeah. You
I
I
like, and I trying to teach that to like kids too is like just like get into this space of right here. Don't think about anything else.
Mhm.
And it's really like freeing and like meditative almost to like play a sport for me because I'm just like I don't think about my taxes while
Yes.
like I'm not thinking about whatever dumb stuff that we have to do responsibility wise.
Mhm.
I'm just thinking about like where my next turn is
Yeah.
and like don't hit that rock.
Yes, it's a best mindfulness practice ever because you don't
Yeah.
want to mess up. I commend you for just sharing all this because it's so simple, it hurts. Why overcomplicate life when it can just be simple?
Yeah.
Oh, take it
We
day
like
by
to
day.
we love to overcomplicate. That's
Oh
our
yeah,
that's our jam.
it's our favorite. Well, Tara, I have loved this so much, and I want to hit you with 4 rapid fire questions to
Okay.
close out our combo. And the first one is, what is your spirit animal and why?
My spirit animal is a bear. 100% just because I mean mountains, very protective style person,
Mhm.
strong-willed, and I just love bears. I feel like pretty tight with them. I don't know, we've got something going on.
Bear's gotta eat.
I'm a bear for sure.
I love it.
Me and
Question
my
2.
friend,
Yeah, yeah,
wait,
yeah.
wait, me and my friend are getting a tattoo of a bear and an owl because she's an owl, having a tea party because whenever we were kids and it was like the first time we were ever hanging out, I had tea come out of my nose.
Oh, I love that.
It's gonna
That's
be the best.
precious. That's gonna be badass.
I
Yeah.
can't wait.
I think animals tattoos and they're doing human activities is great. It's why I have a sea otter playing a saxophone on my arm.
Exactly.
You
It's
gotta
gonna
have fun. You just gotta live your best life. Take it simple.
right.
Question 2. What's one object under $100 that has changed your life that you think everyone needs?
Shoot, that's tough. My cat just didn't make it onto the fridge. Probably shoot, I don't know. A cast iron skillet.
Ooh.
I use it every single day. and it can help if you have anemia.
Mm.
And it's the best thing ever to cook on. It's better than those non-sticks.
Mhm. They got no
And
toxins.
and if anybody comes into your house, you can just hit them with that cast iron. So it also is a great weapon. So
It
I
is.
think everybody should have a cast iron.
3, what is your guilty pleasure?
Oh, my guilty pleasure. I mean, whew, I like a lot of things that are bad for me.
Mhm.
My guilty pleasure is probably cinnamon rolls. I could not stop eating cinnamon. Like if you were to just cook a whole thing and somebody set them there, I would eat the whole thing. It would, that's it. They're gone. Don't leave them near me.
Beautiful. And 4, if you had a magic wand that could change one thing in the world, what would you change?
I would, this is gonna sound radical, but I would just delete money.
Yeah.
And I would just like be like, you know what, we're gonna go back to trading because it seems like it makes more sense than these made up numbers here. But we have billions and dollars of like debts and things in the just in the world in general. So it's like that's just crazy. So I like no money.
No money. Give me your berries for that chicken.
I want to trade you like farm things for a bike, you know, like that's what I want.
Yes.
I
That
will do labor for you so that you can build me something. You know, like I would rather that than be indebted to the bank.
yes. With this paper, this green
Yeah. Wait,
paper.
I just doesn't make, I don't know, maybe I'm not smart enough, but I just doesn't make sense to me. That's another
Hey, I love it, and I'm here with you appreciating it.
thing.
Tara, you're fabulous, and I wish I had more time to chat with you today because I think we could just keep talking about how complicated situations are and then how we handle them and how simple it can be and just ways to maneuver it. So I really hope to have you on in the future to just dive in more.
Heck
And
yeah.
and thank you so much for your time. This has been a blast. You are a ball of energy and light, and I fucking love it. So thank you so much.
Well,
And
thank you for having me.
absolutely. And where can everyone find you before we head out?
So you can find me on Instagram. That's pretty much where I'm mostly at. And it's just trekking with Tara, and there's an underscore at the end. And you can also follow BombShell Bitties. And you'll see Betty and Ethel on there. You can't miss us.
Beautiful. I'm going to have all of these links in the show notes. So please go follow Tara, check her out. She's doing some rad stuff in the world and she's making it fun, as we all need a little bit more of that in our lives. So, everyone, thank you today and always. I will leave you how I've been leaving you. So, I invite you to be inspired to go into your corner of the world and create a positive and enthusiastic ripple effect. And we will catch you on the next episode of the pod. See you, fam.